You got mail. Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2.0 on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next hour or so, along with Gal.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Spence is here.
Hello there.
Hello. Uh, Katie is not going to be here with us this morning, but I did not hear anything from Nick, and he did not say he was not going to be, so maybe he'll join us. But anyway, our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible again by vMix Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. So, what happened this week? Anything?
What happened?
I don't
Something
know.
happened?
Anything to first
I
of
had a
all, this is your time in between, Gal, isn't it?
Yeah, next week I'm starting a new job. We mentioned it last week.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
good luck with that.
Friday afternoon, my account got shut down. Well,
Oh well.
the apps from my phone were removed. It was a very freeing experience. uh, so yeah, I mean,
All right.
I'm happy towards this next endeavor.
Yeah, it'll be just great. I know you always make it. You always make it good.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yep.
That's the plan.
So Spence, you started saying something.
I was just saying have a customer that I hear from on an occasional basis. This is the one where I had all kinds of problems setting up their new Windows 11 machine because of problems with Apple ID and it's just insane stuff that was going on. Multiple accounts, trying to figure out which account owned the Office 365 licenses and all that. Had it working fine. Had an update, and now they keep getting a login screen to Office 365 every time they restart the machine. Log in with your Apple ID. And been researching that and have not been able to find a good answer. It's one of those try the following 6 things, right? And some of them are way above the skill level of the person who has got the computer.
Hmm.
Uh, have you tried using ChatGPT during this troubleshooting
No, not yet.
process?
This is just happened over the weekend,
Oh, I
and
mean, definitely
yeah, that would be a good way to
try.
to consolidate solutions to it.
Right, and not only that, you tell it what you did, and you give it like specifics, like the error that you're seeing and stuff. I think you'll be surprised, like
Yeah, I'll give it a
the
try,
way it
give it a
guides
shot.
you through the troubleshooting. Yeah.
I'm waiting to hear back now from one thing I told him to do, and I haven't heard back. I got to check my email to see if he replied.
Um.
Poor guy. It's just been this is what's happened. The last this machine and the machine before has just been because he had a business and he had an Apple ID that was really like for his business, and his wife had one also, and they were kind of out there.
Talking about ChatGPT, a new study from researchers at Microsoft and Carnegie Mellon University found that increased reliance on AI tools leads to a decline in critical thinking skills.
Ooh.
The researchers tapped 319 knowledge workers. That means a person whose job involves handling data or information, and asked them to self report details on how they use generative AI tools in the workplace. The participants were asked to report tasks that they were asked to do, how they used AI tools to complete them, how confident they were in the AI ability to do the task, and their ability to evaluate that output, and how confident they were in their own ability to complete the task without any AI assistance. When I read this, I
Well, okay. The last part is how confident they are they would be able to complete it without.
yeah,
But it's
I don't know how they can answer that.
no, I mean
Uh,
it's
yeah,
definitely a subjective input, but it's not about their ability so much as about their confidence. So I wonder where they take the critical thinking into this, like the title
yeah.
of the article. Yeah.
The only thing that came to mind that I could say, yeah, I can see that happens is when we started using phone books, not the phone books, but the list in the phone
Yeah,
of
not
the
only that,
numbers.
calculators, man, calculators.
Well, I mean, calculators, at least you had to know how to do it and things like that. It's not like,
Same thing. No, same thing. You still need to know how to use the AI
no, no,
effectively.
yeah, I understand. That's not what I'm talking about. When we started putting phone numbers in our phone, we were forgetting what's the number for Gal? I don't know because I don't dial it 10 times a day. I just press a button and it
True,
goes.
but it's
So,
not important.
well, I mean, that's
All you
the,
need to know is what's the name of your
but,
friend, right? That's
but
what you
that's,
need to
yeah,
know.
but that's the type of thing. They said that it really causes your brains to, um, what's the word they use? Like going numb, kind of, you don't need
You
to
see,
think.
that's where I disagree. So I'll tell you why I disagree.
All right.
It frees up your brain to do
To
for
do other
other
stuff.
tasks.
Well,
Yeah, you will not be busy doing that path, but you'll be busy doing some other thought path, right? Um, it's the same with the job situation. It will take away jobs for sure,
oh yeah, it
right?
is.
It will create new jobs as well. It's still a problem. I'm not saying, oh, it's good news. It's all good news, right? But it's a revolution, right? It's a huge change and it's a huge shift, and it will create chaos at first. The only concern that we need to do as a culture, right, as a group of human beings, is we need to focus on the fact that we need to keep the societally fabric, right? Not It shouldn't be a tear. It should be something that builds a better builds us better instead of tearing us apart. And that's the important part, right? Tools and tools have always been a key in any revolution, right? If it was weapons, if it was writing, if right,
Yeah.
the press, if it was the industrial revolution, right? uh, Technology basically was always a key part of those type of revolutions, right? Agriculture, it's also a technological revolution, and suddenly you get a change, a complete shift from nomads, right, to people who stay in place and start aggregating stuff, basically, right? You no longer need to worry that in a week you're moving to another spot, so you take with you as little as possible, right?
No longer hunter
So
gatherers, they become
yeah,
agricultural society.
so it was always technology that made those changes and shifts, right? So this is another one, and it's a huge one because this will not be a slow one, right? Every time the cycle just it's like a flywheel, right? The spinning is just faster and faster and faster
Yeah.
and faster, and so it's definitely on us to keep up and make sure we're not left behind. But it's also I think it's understandable that this will not change. This will not stop, right? So we need to make sure that we understand the landscape. But it's not necessarily a dark landscape, right? It's just a different one.
Have you seen that there are a few stories that came out this week? It's not new, but for example, Forbes had a few articles about this, but here's a story. It says Microsoft study finds relying on AI skills can kill your critical thinking skills. And they're saying that if AI takes in doing the tasks that you would normally do to organize information, that it affects you and that you won't be using your critical thinking skills.
Yeah, I mean that's it's probably another aspect of what Amnon is reading right now. And
Yeah. Yeah.
first of all, this is a single study, right?
Oh no, I'm not.
And
I'm
no,
saying I agree with you.
and
I just
it's an important one, right? I agree with. It's just the conclusion. I'm not totally sure that critical thinking, right, is what's being lost here, but the skills to organize data, right, is definitely going to be a niche, right? A lot more niche, right? A lot less people are going to do. I mean, what? Yeah, I went to a restaurant last night, okay, and this one it looks like it's like a long-standing family-owned restaurant, not a chain, not nothing, right? And so they are not relying on all of the fancy new technology that all of the new restaurants have for seating, for example. What she had a notebook, right, with not even a printed one, right? Everything is handwritten. A table, notches for tracking who, which reservation came in. That skill will definitely go away sometime when everybody is using a tablet or something to do it, right?
Yeah.
Whoever thinks about how to organize that will be behind the scenes and will be an engineer, probably with an LLM, building some sort of mechanism to manage that, right? And eventually, it probably will be an LLM, whether a person is going to do the interaction with it for you, like a middleman, or it will talk with you and say, okay, what's your reservation? And you'll tell it, and it'll tell you, okay, somebody will sit you down in a moment, right? That exists, and that'll happen. Uh, it's our job as human beings to prepare for the change, not to say, "Oh no, everything is changing and it's going to shits." No, it's just we need to adapt.
Yeah. Yeah,
well,
but
I
I mean,
think
Amnon, correct me if I'm wrong, right? But when you started the computer business, before that you did mechanics,
yeah.
right? It's not like uh, you were born to do computers.
No. Well, I don't know. I mean,
Exactly.
who knows?
No, what I mean is, it's not like it's you didn't do electronics before this, right? You didn't do. It's not
I
like
d
you were adjacent to it and you suddenly
I did
jumped on
electronics
it.
since I remember myself. I mean, I always fooled around with radios and things like that
Yeah,
when
but
I
you
was.
never deal with it professionally. That's what
No,
I
no,
mean.
no. You're right.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
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 I took the same path because I started out purely mechanical and then was lucky enough to move from electromechanical into mainframes. And that's what made all the difference. Opened up
Right.
every aspect of technology, networking, security, storage, all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I think I'm not super concerned about this because I know me and how I'll react to this thing. I'm not going to, because I do, there's so many things that everyday problems that come up that I learned a diagnostic approach to. That was one of the great things about IBM was the way they taught. I talked about this before about they taught you a diagnostic approach to things to critically think about what's happening here, what's changed. Look at the big picture first, cut it in half. Here's the half that works. Here's the half that doesn't work, and just narrow
Right.
down. And I use that every day. And I think having something to be able to organize it more, I started to use something to summarize for me, which to me is like that just saves me a bunch of stuff I hate to do. It makes it so much
Right.
easier. But if I'm attacking a problem like this problem with the Microsoft ID thing. If I'm going to try AI and see what it does, but I've already spent a couple of hours on and off thinking about this problem over the last couple of months. And so,
And the
yeah, I'm
availability
interested.
of these tools, right? The
So
availability of these tools at this point, it's like having on the one hand an assistant, and on the other hand a coach, right? Because it can do both. So if you are trying to understand something, you're asking it, okay, so explain to me, right, how everything is built, and then okay, and then I see this, it's breaking here. What information do I need in order to understand it? Right? You can ask it questions. That's the key change here.
I have an idea. We should create a system that requires that when you sit down to use AI, you have to answer a few critical thinking questions before you're allowed to use the system. Brilliant, right? So you say there's kids
Well,
in school. Oh, I want to do okay. Before you're allowed to access this, you have to show that you can figure this problem out.
it's brilliant, but you know what will happen?
You'll be sued.
I know everybody say you're censoring us, you are
Yeah.
limiting access, you're not the
Uh,
liberals, no,
Yeah.
the right wing, no, the
Yeah. That's it.
the moment you ask the question,
Are you
or the
18 Well, we have a simple one now, right? Are you 18 years of age before you're allowed to access something online? Should make it a little more
13,
complicated.
yeah,
What happened
13,
in
yeah,
1959? Oh,
yeah,
all right, let's switch here. And I'm not familiar with this, but I'm sure one of you know. Amazon is removing the download and transfer via USB feature for Kindle ebooks starting February 26, closing a loophole that allowed users to download older, easily crackable DRM formats.
yeah, yeah.
you
It
know,
was
I
it
I
was
know
bound
of
to
one
happen.
person who is a avid Kindle user and knows every single method for downloading and trying to find things, and I uses this, and I'll find out what the reaction is.
Yeah, that it's interesting. I wonder
But
how long
there's
that thing was
Well, the easiest
out
thing to
there.
do is to belong to a forum where people have all this stuff. It's already available. Most things are available. There's no,
Yeah,
I don't think there's a lot of stuff out there that's going to be held back by DRM. I mean,
uh,
and even if there
It's not
is,
just the
there's
forum binding it.
so much stuff out there that
Oh yeah,
you can choose from. People who self-publish it and just want it out there. I mean, it's not like there's a oh, I can't access this whole gigantic group of books.
well, you can
It's
yeah.
just
Well,
access it,
self
but
publishers, that's fine, but if you want something that is sold by Amazon, and you want the quality of the ebook that Amazon produces, right? And so that's what they're fighting. I mean, it's
here's the solution. And what I do, I belong to two libraries, right? And the Wake County system and the Fairbanks system. And I have now the newest app is Libby, it's called. It used to be
yeah,
whatever it was. So I go and I have specific authors that I really like, and I put out uh, looking for availability of certain books in order, and I use it, and I get a note, oh, your book is ready, and I get it. For, it's supposed to be a 3-week borrow, but it turns out that if you don't turn your Kindle on, you leave it off, it doesn't remove it. So I load up 6 or 7 books, and I can still because I could never, I used to read a lot. I mean, when I commuted, I would read several books a week, but now it's like I might read 3 pages at night and I fall asleep. But it's still when I travel, I read a lot, and that's one way to do it. I mean, I'm not violating any licensing agreements. The book has
right.
been returned to the library to be sent to somebody else. It's just that I'm keeping it longer because I need more time. So
no, no, I
Yeah.
completely agree.
All right. Um, Android user rejoice. Apple has released an official Apple TV app for Android phones and tablets that's now available in the Google Play Store.
Never install it.
That was a piece of news.
If you would have said they've officially the only thing that I think any Android user actually cares about Apple is access to iMessage. That's it. Just so, and it's not about iMessage as a technology, it's
Yeah.
just about the people
Mhm.
being connected to your friends and family in a better way. I don't even need FaceTime. I just need iMessage. I don't care about FaceTime. I iMessage. That's it.
Yeah, you can get. I think isn't there like now I have Fire Stick and it has an Apple TV client, and I have Roku and it has an Apple TV client, so it's available. You don't have to be pick one side or another.
No?
And there's some good
And
stuff on Apple TV. There's some junk, but there's a few really good.
yeah, but
Have you guys
it's a
ever heard of
There are
Severance?
different. Yes, fantastic.
it's a
There are
subs
different
Fantastic.
ways of getting that.
Yeah.
it's a subscription though, remember. If you think about doing it. Apple TV is not a free thing.
Yeah,
No.
like
And
like
my
most
son has
services.
a
Uh,
family share plan for all the Apple stuff that he pays for that we can all get on,
yeah.
which is great. And it's legal.
All right, so according to
Actually, it is not
Why?
because
why?
the family plan is for a household.
Well,
Like the legal blurb
true.
that you're assigning in the EULA is for a household.
Oh, I
So the
live in his
fact
house.
then that's fine.
You live in a house, right? Yeah,
No,
well,
his house. He owns my house.
yeah.
That fixes it, right? The household. Well, it's
So
not like it extends out to this gigantic secondary family. So, and
Yeah.
I know for a fact that some of my family members don't use it. So, and I don't use it
No,
much
I
either.
know, I know exactly. But it's
and they know that people do that. I
Yeah, and I'm
mean,
paying.
it's
I
it's
know, and
fine.
they're always trying to find the loopholes where to close those loopholes,
Yeah.
right?
So I pay for Netflix for everybody, but I have people paying the extra fee for an additional family member outside of the home. So we are paying through the nose for Netflix.
As long as you get something out of it.
Yeah.
All right, so according to Bloomberg, Apple will restore TikTok to the US App Store on Thursday, which was last Thursday. Following a letter from U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi. Apple, along with Alphabet's Google, removed TikTok in the U.S. to comply with a law passed last year. In a January 20th executive order, Trump said he instructed the Attorney General not to take any action to enforce the act for a period of 75 days from today, to allow my administration an opportunity to determine the appropriate course forward. Apple confirmed the app will return Thursday evening. It'll probably be also on the apps. I mean, on the Play Play Store. Although
It's funny.
they don't
It's
mention it.
funny. I I do watch a lot of TikTok stuff, but it's all on X.
Huh.
You look at the short videos, and 2/3 of the short videos on X and TikTok.
Well,
It's kind of good because it kind of curates the stuff that I'm interested in, which is good.
Oh, trust me, if you had TikTok, TikTok curates the stuff that you're
I
interested in.
know, I know.
It's awful. It's like
My daughter is a big Instagram/TikTok user,
yeah.
and I know.
Instagram at least allows me. The reason I use Instagram and I do not use TikTok is because it allows me to just look at what I chose to follow at. It's hidden there. You need to do like multiple clicks and you need to, but I can watch just the stuff that eventually I can get to a feed that is only the people that I follow chronologically, what they posted, and that's it,
Yep.
right? No suggestion in between, only ads, no suggestions in between, and the ads are easily identifiable. So that is what I use, right? in terms of Instagram. I've stopped even looking at the stories unless it's stories from actual human beings that I follow. I don't care about all of the stories from celebs or something. I just the people that I care about. If they
Yeah,
put a
I
family
use
photo or
Instagram
something like that,
only for
that's
family
it.
stuff, my
Yeah,
grandkids. That's how I
yeah. Well,
see the yeah,
that's the only social media
yeah,
I actually follow, and even that I do it. I don't know, because I can watch it chronologically. Then I open it only in the weekend, because otherwise I get sucked in. That's what
yeah,
happened to me with TikTok, right? I would set a timer for 10 minutes, right?
yeah,
And tell it, okay, after 10 minutes, ask me a pin, right? I would just put in the pin and continue.
yeah.
It's like a drug. And then I said, okay, so 10 minutes was too short. I extended it to the max, which is 40 minutes, and that still didn't work. So understand, I was wasting like over an hour, maybe sometimes more a day on this stuff. And
Hmm.
it drains you, drained me completely.
I get a weekly
And that's
report
when I just stopped using it.
from my iPad and iPhone screen time to tell me how much time I've spent, and I can drill down from there on what.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well, I'm
anybody watching Pit? Do you know?
Not
Do
yet.
you know
No.
this new show? It's new on
Yeah.
Max. It's
No,
excellent.
Noah Wiley, right? Yeah.
Noah Weil. Yeah, what a great. And but last night's episode was interesting because it's about social media influencers. Somebody
Okay.
comes into the emergency room like in a like insane, like they're tripping on drugs or something, and found the person who they live. The two influencers live together. They're not friends. They just happen to find each other online, and they just share rent and have their studios in their apartment. And the one person found the other person running around in the street, crazy. And it was very interesting because she was a uh,
Yeah.
influencer, and
Influencer, yeah.
she was getting cosmetics from other countries that
Okay.
wasn't tested, and there was mercury in one of them, and she was basically had Mad
Mercury
Hatter's
poisoning.
disease. Oh my gosh! What I mean, the storylines on this are really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a very good show. The format is it's 12 episodes. Each one is an hour in the ER for Noah Wiley,
Like
who was the
real
head of
time. Yeah.
his shift, a 12-hour shift each hour. And so it's very clever. Writing is good. Characters are amazing, and it's useful. I mean, because they get into different subjects about fentanyl, and they get into organ donation, and they get into all kinds of good. Hello.
What time is it? What time is
No,
that
Pam
show?
just came in my office. And what?
Did you say
Okay.
Pam just came in your
Pam
office?
just came into my office. Oh, but her feet are soaked, so she walked through a puddle.
Oh,
Oh, did you fall in a puddle up to your middle? Yeah. Yeah. Apparently it's raining pretty hard out there.
yeah, it's pouring outside.
Yeah.
Um,
Stopped over here.
it's what?
Here it's stopped. So,
Yeah,
Yeah. Just
it's
before I came up, the wind was blowing outside. So a storm was coming through.
so we all been here for a while, and we remember them days. LibreOffice,
yeah.
the
Actually use
open,
it.
the
I know
open
people still
source,
use it.
the open source Office suite, suite or suit,
Sweet.
Sweet.
suite that began as Star Office in 1985
Hmm?
has marked its 40th anniversary with new features that it says could transform how users interact with the software. At the FOSDEM 2025 conference, developers unveiled LibreOffice 25.2, which introduces browser based functionality and real time collaboration capabilities through a technology called conflict free replicated data types. A key,
Okay,
develop,
interesting.
a key development is Zeta Office, a version built for the web assembly runtime that enables the full Office suite to run inside web browsers across operating system and CPU architecture. The project, which entered public beta last November, allows websites to embed LibreOffice applications with complete user interfaces for editing documents, spreadsheets, and presentations. Almost something that you can use on any platform.
Well, I mean, it sounds like they they had to reimagine, reinvent everything on web-based technology. They had to rewrite the suite for web
Yeah,
um,
of course they did.
for the technology. It's basically what I mean. Google, when they started their Office suite, right? They made it web first, and Microsoft when they launched Office 365, right? It was at first just a subscription for the installed stuff, but they're
Right.
pushing everything to be web first. So it sounds like we got that finally on the open source side, which is great, phenomenal.
Yep.
I've been using LibreOffice on this machine. This is the only machine of mine that I do not have Microsoft Office installed, like intentionally. I handicapped myself here in order to see if I can use it exclusively. It's
And
not as convenient as Microsoft Office.
oh,
Microsoft Office is very, very, very streamlined, and it is much more advanced. The same I can say for Google Docs. The Microsoft Office, let's say, just focus on the Word alternatives, right? Word is a phenomenal tool. It has, in the terms of the convenience and the tooling that it has, when you want to do something simple and when you want to do something very complex. On the complex stuff, the LibreOffice fails. Uh, there are things that it cannot do the same in the same way.
something that comes off top of your head, like what?
Um, So I manage an Excel sheet for monthly bill payments, right?
Okay.
Uh, and so I use a lot of tables. In Microsoft, when you use a table, referencing within the table and writing the formulas within the table is very simple. Everything's automatically filled up, and all of the autocomplete in LibreOffice is can be helpful, but you need not to fall down into pits because it does not see everything properly in reference and properly. So uh, when you want to use it in a more advanced way, then you start hitting the limitation. Uh, it crashes quite a bit when the spreadsheet is large. Something that hasn't happened on a Microsoft suite for a long time. Will I change it to Microsoft Office? At this point, no. I've gotten used to it, and this is the tool I'm going to use. And they are improving. Every iteration is an improvement, and you always feel the improvement. And so it's not as good as what I could steal or what I can pay for, right? But this one, I know that I have zero qualms about owning it, right? And so if I choose to donate, I'll donate, right? But it's not no there's no caveat, there's no downside to me owning it in this at this point. Once I got used to it, so it's nice that they're gonna have some web based. It'll be interesting because it also means that I might be able to self-host it on my home server, and then I don't need to install it on any of my computers, right? It's on my server. I access it when I want to. That's where the data is. And so it's something that I take off the computer completely. Nice as well. So definitely take a look at it.
Okay. That's good. That's yep.
Hey,
Um,
I have a question for you guys.
Go ahead.
Anybody have any experience setting up a, I have several old printers and I'd like to be able to print from AirPrint from iOS devices. And I've seen there's a few things out there, but one that sticks out to me here is building an AirPrint server on Raspberry Pi, it's cups server. Have any
Yeah,
experience
you
with
can run
this?
a cup server on anything. It doesn't need
Yeah.
to be a
Well, I
Raspberry
mean,
Pi, but
I'd
yeah,
like to have it dedicated and just running. So I just let us, and I don't want to have to keep a PC running to do it.
yeah.
Just have a Raspberry Pi doing just that would be really cool. Because we do have there's a brother program that you can, app that you can run on your phone that can take a PDF and certain image types and you can print them. And it works pretty good. But it involves taking the image, downloading it to your phone, opening it with the app in the folder, and then printing. So there is an extra step. Not just like I'd love to be able to just say, print this page of wherever I'm at on the phone, which would be
Yeah.
wonderful. So I'm
And
gonna
the brother is a USB based connected printer
I
or a
have
network
both.
connected.
They're both network and USB. So and that's what the tutorial I was just looking at said that I need to use the USB connection to the Raspberry Pi, which is fine. It doesn't matter. So I only need to do one printer. I have two lasers and one laser color, and none of them support AirPrint. So
Hmm.
they're
Um,
just too old. Not buying a new printer just to do that.
yeah,
Well, maybe it's time to switch to Android.
To what?
To Android.
Yeah,
Ditch the
yeah.
Apple ecosystem.
I think I'd have some
I am actually
pushback.
I am going to have a MacBook as my daily driver in this new job. So it's going to be
what?
Cool.
interesting.
All
So,
right.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna see how much I like or hate what they do with with that OS.
You know, it having gone
I'm
back
sure
and
it's
forth
okay.
several
It's
times.
not.
My first exposure to it was very early. Mac was there was the only people that had MacBooks was salespeople. For engineers, we had desktop Macs that did
Yeah,
all of the administrative stuff, and then we all had PC laptops that did all the configuration of network devices. So it was really kind of goofy. But the Mac was a desktop, I can't Quadra, something like that. And it was a desktop. So that was the only time I used it when I was in the office. But I still have my MacBook. I have the original MacBook uh, aluminum single aluminum chassis. And my son worked for Apple at the time, and they had gotten a machine in as in to replace their time card system, and they didn't do it. So they had this sitting on the shelf new, and I got it. I bought it at his discount, and I've used it on and off for years. The problem with the traveling with it is it weighs about 8 pounds. But I
Well,
upgraded it recently. I found a company. Crucial Memory actually said that they tested, and you could put. Originally, you were limited to 4 gig of memory, and they found a way to do it with 8, and without doing any kind of a BIOS change. So I have 8 gig. I have the newest OS that it will run, OS X that it'll run, which I think is Yosemite or something like that. But every once in a while, I'll take it out to use it, and it just works. It's
yeah.
11 years old.
So yeah. So
Well, have fun. It's yeah.
I'm not gonna buy into the Apple
Oh
ecosystem, but
no,
I am definitely going to use it for work. So
yeah. It's interesting. Just the way you handle apps is so different.
yeah,
Um,
well, talking about Apple, Apple posted a new support document about migrating purchases between accounts, something that Apple users with long online histories have been waiting on for years, if not
yeah,
decades.
see
If you
that.
have movies, music, or apps orphaned on various tools like Mac, MobileMe, iTunes accounts that preceded what you're using now, you can start the fairly involved process of moving them over. Apparently, you
the
couldn't do
the
it
fact
before.
that there is a process is surprising, I would say.
Yeah.
It's kudos to them.
So there's a new support document somewhere
I
up
am
there.
waiting for something like that on Android because so um my Google ecosystem is all based on Google Work. What it today is called Google for Workspaces or Google Workspaces, and I've registered my domain with them when they offered
Yeah.
free accounts,
Yeah.
and uh, I have there a dedicated user just for Android based purchases. I have um, tens, if not over 100, uh, well, tens probably, tens of licenses that I've purchased for that account because that is the account that I install for every family member when I set up the phone. It allows me from a single account to do a find my device, right? But it also allows all of these devices to have the licensed app installed on them. And the problem is that at one point, a few years after they decided to stop with the free service for Google Workspaces, it has become, it came to a situation where Google Workspaces is no longer considered like a regular Google account. It has so many limitations that I just want to move that specific account into a regular Google account. But it's not like I can tell everybody, okay, just install the new Google account and you'll get all the apps. Because if they
Hmm.
remove that account, right, they're losing all of the licenses. So hopefully Google will come up with a plan like that as well eventually.
Yeah. All you can do is hope.
Yeah.
Yep. Um, talking about Google, Google Chrome browser might soon get a useful security upgrade, detecting passwords used in data breaches and then generating and storing a better replacement. Google preliminary copy suggests it's an AI innovation, though exactly how is unclear. Noted software digger Onyx found a new offering in the AI setting of a very early build of Chrome. And he says the option automated password change. So early stages as to not yet get a copy edit is described as when Chrome finds one of your passwords in a data breach, it can offer to change your password for you when you sign in.
Yeah, I think LastPass has been doing this for years.
Nice.
I haven't used LastPass for a long time, but I remember they had a feature similar to that. Uh, in in Bitwarden, Vaultwarden, the analysis whether which of your user accounts are have been exposed, you get that if you use the premium version. So I
Well,
mean, I wouldn't trust my passwords with a Google account, not because I don't trust Google. It's because it's such a huge target
yeah,
that if something happens, it'll probably happen there compared to other places,
yeah.
right?
Yep.
So the same, by the way, the same I would say with Apple, and the same I would say with Microsoft. It's the fact that going back to AI and critical thinking, right? The fact that people use the built-in tool into the OS to manage their credentials, right? For me, when I see that, it's like I am queasy because there's no way for me to actually understand how it works on the OS level. If there was a third party tool, then at least I have the choice of what to put there and how, and I have some sort of control over that part. My critical thinking, right, is still active. If I have to manage where my secure stuff is. But when the OS says, "Hey, trust me, I'll deal with your secure stuff," right? I see that and I say, "Yeah, but how do you do it? And can I change that?" And if the answer is no, me,
Mhm.
Gal,
Mhm.
I say, "Okay, then no, then I won't use it. I'd rather not use that, right? And keep my critical thinking. And yes, it's a chore. And yes, I need to set up something in order for things to seem seamless. But if you do not give me a choice on how to control this, then I will not use that, right? And that's the thing. It's relying on the internal tools. Same goes for Google Chrome, right? It's still an internal tool within the browser. It's tied to this behemoth of your Google account, which contains too much information anyway, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, it's good that they're doing it, but it'll reduce the critical thinking of people with their
All
passwords,
right.
right? It won't increase.
So let me ask you this now. How long have you been using Bitwarden?
Oh, Bitwarden for a long time,
Long time.
probably
So
6, 8 years,
did they
and
ever?
I've been using LastPass before that for probably around the same amount of time, maybe even 10 years.
Okay.
So
So is there a way these days to import,
yeah,
to
yeah,
take?
you can import anything that can be exported. Bitwarden knows how to import. So if you're using LastPass, it can import that. If you're using an Excel sheet, as long as you set it up in
Gal,
a certain.
Gal, if you're using the internal, like Chrome, like what you're saying, and you Chrome or uh,
Yeah, I don't know about Chrome. That's a good question. I know that it does it from Firefox for sure,
so
right?
yeah, Firefox.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
keep it in your local. Uh, it keeps it locally on your Firefox, but it also copies it to
Well, not only
syncs it.
that,
But
exactly. Firefox Sync preserve that information as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
so there is a way to go from if you now today if you subscribe to Bitwarden,
Mhm.
you can effort. Uh, it won't
With
take
a
any.
bit of effort, it
It
will.
is.
It. I mean, sometimes because these systems are not built to be exported out of them, so not seamlessly. So it will tell you the steps that you need to take, but you'll need to take a few steps either to export something from Google or a few clicks. But the import process is seamless. Once it imports it, the data is there, right?
Okay. Because yeah, I'm still keeping on my machine. It's keeping it in Firefox.
Yeah, you can definitely export from Firefox and import into a Vault. Not a problem. By the
Oh,
way, it's not unique to Bitwarden. Uh,
well, I mean, for me to do it, it's unique to Bitwarden because Gal
Yeah,
says to.
no, but what I mean, it's true with most password managers, right? Like
Okay.
LastPass and One Password and all that.
Well,
It's a feature of all of them.
years
That's
ago,
what I mean.
when you talked about it and I asked you, you said, yeah, it can be done, but it wasn't like it was easy. That's what I'm saying. These days, did they
I
advance
don't
it enough?
I don't think it has changed a lot. There's a process of running. I haven't tried it because I
Okay.
haven't used the internals, but we can definitely
Okay.
try it.
Yeah. 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 I want to, because every time I do it, your picture comes in front of me because I'm on. All right. So don't rush for a new GPU. Two owners of NVIDIA new RTX 5090 Founders Edition GPUs have reported melted power connectors and damage to their PSUs.
User error, user error.
I don't know. The images look identical to reports of RTX 4090 power cables burning or melting from 2 years ago. Remember when?
Right. No, it felt deja vu. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
NVIDIA blamed the issue on people not properly plugging the 12-volt power connector connection in fully, and the PCI standards body blamed NVIDIA. The point is, it was fixed. We don't hear, well, let's put it this way, we don't hear about any more
Yeah.
melting and all, but now in the new one, this is brand
Yeah.
new. And
Yeah.
actually, they were saying that they didn't even introduce it yet. They're going to introduce it in about a week or two after AMD introduces theirs. But yeah, that's bad. Bad, bad, bad. Now, if you're using an Apple, Apple has released emergency security updates for iOS 18.3.1 and iPad OS 18.3.1 to patch a 0-day vulnerability that was exploited in extremely sophisticated targeted attacks. The flaw, which allowed a physical attack to disable USB restricted mode on locked devices, was discovered by Citizen Lab and may have been used in spyware campaigns. Users are strongly advised to install the update immediately.
I already did.
Okay,
Yeah, I saw it
Yeah.
pop up. Yeah.
good. Yeah,
I'm no
so
Interesting.
longer I'm no longer connected to that feed, right? But in Varonis, we would get these alerts from the CISO about uh, immediate action needed. It was always iOS.
well, I mean, it's at least you get, you get the notices.
No, I mean what changed is just at this point the most homogeneous system that is so widespread is iOS, right? And so that's the target. When it wasn't, when it was a niche, then it was less targeted and it wasn't more secure. It was just less targeted. It's all
Yeah,
about being targeted. It's not about. It cannot be more secure than another, right? It's as secure as any other system these days. It's just the one that's being targeted all the time. So that's where we're gonna hear about vulnerabilities the
yeah,
most, right?
yeah,
So
yeah. And something that has to do with our little furry friends. Animal shelters, rescues, and veterinarian clinics around the US are posting on social media telling pet owners to check their four legged friends' microchips after learning a major microchip company called Save This Life is no longer providing services. If you're
okay.
unsure which company your cat's or dog's chips are registered with, check check them. You can go to your local vet office, a local police station, or even a local animal shelter. And they
So
say
basically, the DNS server is down.
well, I don't know what is the, yeah, something
No,
like that.
no.
I mean,
Think about it. It's like the chip probably only has an ID,
yeah,
right, or something, and
absolutely,
it
yeah,
goes and it queries it online and gets the
correct,
details.
yeah, yeah,
So
that's
that
right.
online service is down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they no,
Ouch.
they shut down. They're saying that the company actually shut down,
Yeah.
just
No, I
like that.
understand. Yeah.
Yeah,
Interestingly, that I wonder if this news article will push some other company just to buy the data,
they don't need
right?
to.
Because
They don't need to because what happens here, they tell you
okay,
that you can just find out your chip number
yeah.
and just go online to another company and register. It doesn't
Ah,
cost anything.
interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting. Okay.
this company. I mean, I did it. So they say if your dog or cat has a microchip number that starts with 991 or 900164, then it could be a save this life microchip. Save this life suddenly closed, and your pet may not be protected. So what you do is you go you get the number of the chip. That's
Mhm.
generic,
Yeah.
and you go online, and there's a company. I mean, both our dogs are registered with. Was it something Unite? I can't remember. Um, and you just go there and you register like you just got the new dog chip. The vet will do it probably, but you can do it. Just go in there and say, okay, this number, blah, 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 is this dog, and we are at this address, and blah, and whatever they need.
Okay. And
AKC
how
United.
much does the vet charge for that?
Probably nothing. Oh, for what? For installing?
For for coming, reading the chip,
Oh,
going and registering
Oh, no, no,
it?
no. They will not. I'm saying the vet does it when they install a chip. I
Yeah,
mean,
but you do not have the tool to read the chip at home.
no, I don't. I mean, you can get it, but
That's what
it's
I mean.
ridiculous. No, but when
Exactly.
they say you can go to the vet and they will just, I mean, they just
I
move it
understand,
over
and
and
I
read
am
it.
saying the vet will charge a fee for the meeting.
I don't know. I mean, I would like to think that the vet office, they already offices, they're geared to it. That when somebody comes and say that, that even the person at the reception can just go get the tool and just move it and give you the number and say, this is your number. Now it's up
I
to you.
agree, but you're talking about a vet. Their business
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
customers who come in and need service.
Okay. So
So
so they say
that's
you
what I mean.
so they say you can go to your local vet, a local police station, they're not going to charge you,
Ah, police station.
or
Interesting.
even
Okay.
a local animal shelter. Anybody that can read
Yeah.
it can give it
Yeah.
to you. Yeah. And I mean, I found it on the paperwork of Luna. I mean, I didn't have to do anything. I just looked at the
Well,
paper.
that's if you know
Yeah,
where to look for it. But
right.
yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's really bad if people don't hear about this,
Yeah.
and
No,
then
for
they said
sure.
we don't have that anywhere. What do you mean? Yeah. So yeah, it's
Interesting. Very interesting.
yep. It's it. There are news
I
that's not.
wonder if you can run your own server as part of that ecosystem. Just as like
Yeah, I
wanting to self-host something
yeah.
interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, not a problem I've ever thought of, but yeah.
It's really not that expensive to get a reader, because I remember when years ago when our dogs got out, um, and they found at the shelter, they called us because say we found the dogs, and they were telling me that they had to wait until Monday because they only have one reader and all that, and I said, "Well, I mean, I'd like." I went and I looked, and it seems like it was like about $30 or $25, and I was going to actually buy a few and give it to them, so people will be able to hear from them earlier. But they say no, we don't need that. Ah, all right, and even though it's about time, there's one good story here. Ransomware payments saw a dramatic 35% drop last year compared to 2023, even as the overall frequency of ransomware attacks increased. That's according to a new report released by blockchain analysis firm Chainalysis. The considerable decline in extortion payment is somewhat surprising, given that other cybersecurity firms have claimed that 2024 saw the most ransomware activity to date.
May I
China,
venture a hypothesis why?
well,
Before you continue reading,
go ahead.
my guess here is because it is more common for these places to be insured, and the insurance company probably has a limit where law enforcement doesn't need to be involved or something, and so the bad actors, they know that limit and they just target that. Is that what they're saying?
No, they
Interesting.
said the Chainalysis itself warned in mid-year report that 2024 activity was on pace to reach new heights, but attacks in the second half of the year failed off. The total amount of payment that Chainalysis tracked in 2024 was 812 million, down from 2023 mark of 1.25 billion. The disruption of major ransomware groups such as Lockbit and Black Cat, whatever, were key to the reduction in ransomware payments.
Hmm.
Apparently, because the law enforcement is doing something about these places, and countries are doing something. Because they're not saying that uh,
Right. The number of attacks hasn't decreased.
it isn't
That's increased,
right.
but the amount of money spent on it
Yeah,
has
and it's
decreased.
also
Interesting.
maybe. I mean, and they don't mention there. What is it? I think we talked about it some time ago that there's a site there that can give you the uh,
The shared keys,
yeah,
the
to
yeah, no more
unencrypt.
ransomware. I think
Yeah,
no more ransomware is
so
the
it
name of the
may
site.
be. I don't know. I mean,
Nah, nah, it doesn't feel that way. But
but that's a good.
cracking down on a system. So the reason uh, uh, the reason you will still get attacks, but you will not get
The
you
payment.
won't get to pay the
Yeah,
payment process, right? Is there's always there are two different type of attacks in this scenario. One is based on a toolkit, right? Something that is shared across attackers, and then
right.
there that means that there's a centralized uh, group developers that they are in charge of the toolkit, and everybody's using that toolkit in order to deploy, in order to collect the fees. It's organized crime, basically, right? uh, the same way you would use Square to buy something at the fair from somebody on their phone, right? That is an ecosystem which is legit and hooked up into a lot of system. But if Square goes away, then suddenly nobody can pay, right? Same idea here. If you have a centralized server, a service that people use in order to manage this hacking, and that server uh, is taken down by law enforcement, then that explains a drop. It'll be interesting to see if that drop is only for the last 6 months and then it goes back up, right? Because some other group takes over and that vacuum in the marketplace of that, right? So um, I wonder if it's because law enforcement have become smarter, or it's just because there's a temporary vacuum and
Uh,
something else will take over.
Maybe.
That's the interesting part that we need to watch for.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right. And Eleanor, the article is on Slashdot. Um, I don't have it in front of me, but it's from over there. And the numbers, again, if that's what you need, it's the number that starts with 991 or 900164. Then they say, then it could be a Save This Life microchip. It says it could be. It didn't say that it definitely is. But the article came from Slashdot. So you can go to slashdot.org and just search for Save This Life.
another way to get to these news article is going to your search engine's news section and typing up a pet microchip or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That should show up there. It doesn't necessarily need to be /. It can be any,
Yeah,
and
well,
they'll.
she was asking that she can't find an article with the numbers in it, so she wanted to. So I figured that she just didn't get it. So yeah, 991 or 900164, starting with. All right, it's that time of day again.
Yeah, I have to go back to sleep.
Is that what you did?
That's what I do, is just sleep all day.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so thanks, Spence. Thanks, Gal. Anything else anybody wants to bring up? Nope. All right. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna, Dina, Mati, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov, and Yael. Thank everybody for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. And change any same passwords wherever you use them. And I was told to clarify that. And if you're using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in 2 different sites, it needs to change. One of them can use it. I mean, don't use that kind of password. It's
Just add another 5 to the end, and you.
just make sure that it's unique for every site.
I know people, very nice, responsible people, that are using the same password just by simply entering another number at the end
Yeah.
Well,
every year.
we'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Monday through Friday, 5 to 6 a.m., Nick hosts the Carolina Journal News Hour on WBT at 11:10 a.m. and 99.3 FM, and it's also on YouTube. Nick also does his own podcast now, the Nick Craig Show, from 7 till 8 on YouTube. And you can go to nickcraig.com and get all the information. And Nick and Brian host the Infection Podcast on Twitch. That's for gamers and gaming news and some political points here and there. So go to infectionpodcast.com and get the information there. And we hope to see you again next week. Have a great one.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com and DeltaForce.net.